Hello, today we are going to do a sample photograph analysis using our Gallery Walk graphic organizer. So when I look at this photo, the first thing my organizer asks me to do is identify 3 things that I see, and it reminds me to be thoughtful and specific. So as I look at this photograph, the first thing that jumps out at me is the weather. So for my first bullet point, I think I might say something like a cold outdoor space, perhaps a field, looks foggy, and I see snow on the ground. And that might all qualify under one bullet point because I'm trying to describe the environment that the people are in. For my next bullet point, I notice a large group of men who I'm guessing are soldiers. I might put a little question mark next to that on my graphic organizer because I won't know for sure that they're soldiers, but that's my best guess. That's what it appears to be to me. For my third bullet point, I'm going to point out that I notice dancing happening. These men are dancing with other soldiers, it appears to be. They look happy, and the other individuals are looking on to the celebration. The second thing the graphic organizer asks us to do is identify the historical significance. So why do we think the photographer took this picture? What can we learn from this picture? Now again, I don't have any context for this photograph, so I can't be sure exactly when it's happening, but my guess that because I think these are soldiers and they are dancing like this, I'm guessing that the photographer chose to take this photograph because a major event has taken place regarding a war. And because these soldiers have different uniforms on, my guess is that they have agreed to stop fighting. Perhaps they've just received word that the war has ended. Perhaps they have a temporary truce going on. But this definitely strikes me as a major moment in what was probably a really difficult and violent time between whatever 2 nations this is. I'm then asked to imagine that I am a person in the photograph and to write down what I might be thinking or what I might be feeling. And again, this one's sort of easy. This is definitely a celebration of some kind. If I'm one of the guys dancing in the middle, clearly I am thrilled. I'm being a little bit goofy. Something has happened that I need to celebrate. I'm feeling joy. I'm feeling relief. And it's definitely a happy moment for me. Finally, the last thing we're asked to do is to write down a question that this photograph makes us ask. Now, we can direct our question at anyone we'd like. Perhaps we might want to ask a question of an individual in the photograph. Or perhaps we want to ask the photographer himself a question. Why did you take this photo? Why was this so important? Something along those lines. Or maybe it's a question I'd like to ask my teacher or a historian or someone who's an expert on this particular time period or event to get a little bit more information. So for this particular photo, the question I'd like to ask is, what are you celebrating? Clearly this is sort of a unique, kind of silly event going on between these 2 groups, and I have not seen a whole lot of other shots of soldiers dancing out in the snow, so I'm very curious about what has got them so happy. What are they celebrating? And this is a question I could direct really at any of those groups, the photographer himself, my teacher, or I could ask a person right in the photo. So when you move on to doing our gallery walk today, please be as thoughtful and specific with each photo that you analyze as I just was with this sample photo. Good luck!